Good morning. So we are discussing the packages. In the previous sessions, we have discussed about the very important, most widely used packages, predefined packages, language package, as well as util package. So in the language package, we have the main classes are math class, object class, and then enum class and wrapper class. So these are the main classes in util language package. And then we have discussing the util package. So the main classes exist in the util packages are first one scanner class, next one formatter class, next one random class, and then next one arrays class. So regarding arrays class, we have discussed in the chapter arrays. And then in the last session, we have seen the some syntaxes of and usages of scanner class and as well as formatter class. So the main purpose of scanner class is, what is the main purpose of scanner class? The main purpose of scanner class is to read the inputs from the keyboard. To read the input from the keyboard. So for that purpose, we are using the scanner class and then formatter class. So formatter class is nothing but to format the coming outputs. To format the outputs, whether left justified or right justified or some precision values or and then some modifications uh, while printing the output. So that can be done through the formatted class. That can be done by importing the formatted class. The class name is formatted. So here we can use the printf method. Here we use the printf method. By using the printf method, we can modify the output by using the format specifiers. So here, whenever you use the printf, we have to use the format specifier. That is percentage d, percentage c, percentages. So for every data type, we have some letter S, S for character, D for integer value, percentage F for floating values. So for each data type, we have some format specifiers. So that is percentage D and percentages. So we can by using that format specifiers, we can format the output. So this is all about the formatted output. And then third important class is random class. Random class. So this is the one of the most widely used class in the util package, that is random. So to generate the random numbers, we have the method random. Already we have the method random in the math class. In the language class, we have the math class. In the math class, we have the method random. So by using this method, we can generate the random numbers. That is okay. But we have the class. We have the class for random numbers. We have the class for random number. That means most of the features are covered here. The way you want the output, the way you want the random numbers to be generated. So that can be done by importing the random class. By importing the random class. So even though we have the method random, apart from this random class has so many methods, so many alternative methods to generate the random numbers or to create the random numbers. So the main purpose of random class is to generate the random numbers, whether it is the integer random numbers or floating point random numbers or any Boolean random numbers. Any type of random numbers can be generated by importing the class random. So the formal definition. So in the Java library, the class random is defined like this: public class random extends object. So random also extends object. So that's why object is called universal random class. Universal random class. So which implements the interface serialization. Which implements the interface serialization. So this is how the random class can be defined in the Java library. That means in the util package. So this is the some basics regarding the random class, and then constructors of the class. So constructors of the random class. So there are two constructors available for random class. That means to the main purpose of constructor is to initialize the variables. To initialize the variables. So there are two ways to initialize the variables. Here random means we are generating the random numbers. That means there should be some logic behind it. So that can be achieved by using the two constructors that can be initialized by using two constructors. One is random, second one is random. Within the braces for this random constructor, we are passing the parameter seed value. That means the ultimate goal is to generate the random numbers. So in order to generate the random numbers, we need a seed value. We need some seed value, some logic, so the logic is nothing but suppose if I give the seed value as 10 means 10 plus 5 mod 5. 10 plus 5 mod 5 for I is equal to 0 to 10. I want to generate the 10 numbers for suppose. So for 10 numbers, so initial seed value is 10. So the 10 value is added with the 1 and then applying the modulus function. So that is how some random numbers are generated. So that is the initial value. So by the random numbers are dependent on the seed value. So for this, the main advantages of this is the randomness of the random numbers increases. That means, so for this instance, I have given the seed value as 10 means it will generate the random numbers by using this 10 value. If I change the 10 to 11 means, if I change the seed value as 10 to 11 means entire random numbers are different. There is no comparison between these two seed values. So both if you change the seed number, automatically entire random numbers are varies. So this is the seed value. So if you give the seed value, the compiler can execute by taking the seed value as given by the programmer, or else the compiler can take his own seed value. The compiler can take the default seed value. So two ways are possible. So these are the main two constructors in random class. So if you want to generate some random numbers, so you have to know the seed value. You have to give the input to generate the random numbers. So that is nothing but a seed value. So there are some methods available in the random class. So what are the methods available? So let us see this. So to generate the random numbers of type int, we have to use the method nextInt. NextInt generates the integer type random numbers. If you want to generate the floating point random numbers, we have to use the method nextFloat. So it generates the random numbers from 0 to 1.0. 0 to 1. It generates the random numbers from 0 to 1. If you use the double means, if you want the double random numbers means next double, next byte, next int, next long, set seed value. For setting the seed value, we have some method set seed. Next boolean. If you want to generate the random numbers of boolean type means we have to use the next boolean. Next bytes. So it generates the pseudo random numbers of type byte and places them in an array, byte array. So that's why we are passing the array as parameter. So mainly these are the methods we will use in the random numbers class, random class. So let us, so these are the some widely used methods in the random class. And then after the Java version 8, so there are so many methods added in the our latest versions of Java. let 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 us see this. So these are the some methods added in the latest versions of Java: double stream, int stream, int stream. So these are the some methods. So let us have one program on this to generate the random numbers. So let us check the program. As the screen is visible to you, Notepad++. So let us check the, let us generate the random numbers of different types. So let us check this. So first line, import java.util.random. So random is a class name. You are using the random class, which is a class in the package util. So that's why you are importing the random class. Or else if you don't need, you can have the asterisk class. Next, I am defining the class random numbers 1. So this is the driver main class. So this is the main method. And then, so I am creating an object here. So if you want to use the members of this class, we need an object. So here, let us see here, random is a class. So here, random is a class. So this class has some class members. That means class members means like methods, interfaces, nested classes. So these are the some class members exist in the random class, but the random class is defined in the random class is already predefined. Random class is already defined in the Java library. Just we are importing this one. Here we are importing this one. Importing this class random. So we are importing this class. So if you want to access these members, whether if you want to access the methods or interfaces, we need an object. We need an object to access the class members. So that's why I am creating the object here. So object of type random. So random is a class name. I am creating an object R is equal to new. So random construct. Random construct. So this is the creation of an object. We need an object to access the class members. So just I am printing the system.out.random numbers are. So here I am using the method set seed. Set seed is a method. So we have set that seed is a some input to the random logic. So I am giving the seed value as 11. R dot set seed. I am setting the seed value as 11. And then, so I want to generate the 10 random numbers. So that's why I'm using the for loop. For int I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. So I want to generate the 10 integer random numbers. 10 integer random numbers of type int. So system.out.println. So I am writing the some small logic 1 plus. So I am adding the seed value to the 1, and then I am generating the random numbers. R plus R dot. So R is the object name. R dot next in. So if you want to generate the integer random numbers, we will use the method next in. We will use the method next in. So we are passing the some value 6. Some value 6, some seed value 6. So by taking 11 and 6 as inputs for the random number generation, and it will generate the some random number, some 10 random numbers. So this is the logic. This is the logic to generate the random numbers, 10 random numbers. So we are setting the seed. So without this also we can run the program r dot set seed. So this is optional. Setting the seed is optional. So here r dot next. So this is one also optional. to make the logic, to make the randomness, randomness in the random numbers. So we are adding the one, or we can add the some modulus function also. So anything can be added here. Just we need to invoke the method next for integer values. So if you want to generate the double type random numbers, I am setting the seed value as 20. Same loop. Here the method is r dot next double. R dot next double. So to generate the integer random numbers, we are using the method next int. For double random numbers, we are using the method next double. Next double. So I am using the formatting also, format specifier also. That means percentage f. So in between these some precision value 0.3f. That means after point 3 digits will be displayed. So this is a double number, means the 300.489 589 that. So in that after decimal point only 3 digits will be displayed. So that is 0.3f. So I am formatting. So that's why I am using the printf. So if you want to generate the Boolean random numbers, means say that can be possible. I am setting the seed value as 30. Same for loop. So here, if you want to generate the Boolean random numbers, means next Boolean. R dot, R is an object name, R dot next Boolean. R dot next Boolean. So these quotations are given for some space. So this is the program for generation of random numbers by using the random class. So for integer random numbers, we are using the r dot next int. For double random numbers, we are using r dot next double. For Boolean random numbers, we are using r dot next Boolean. So this is the simple program to illustrate the random numbers. So let us run this one. So program compiled, Java random numbers one. So these are the random numbers generated. So first we have generated the integer type random numbers 1, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 6, 4, 6, 10 values. For loop, we have used a for loop, so 10 values. Next double type random numbers 0.732, 0.206. So after point only 3 digits are displayed. Next Boolean type true, false, false, true. So Boolean means either true or false. So this is the as a proper program to illustrate the random numbers. So any doubts in this? So hope you understood this program. So let us move to the next topic. So this is all about the random numbers. So random class. So this ends the util package. So in the util package, we have seen what are the classes available in the util package and what are the interfaces available in the util package. And then we are discussing some important classes in the util package. We have seen the scanner class and we have seen the formatter class, and now we have seen the random class. So this is all about the util package. So this is the second package we have discussed. So let us go for the next package. So next package is time package. So next package is time package. So time package is also mostly used by the programmers. So like util and language package, time package is also very important. After the Java version 8, time and date are given as special recognition for programmers. So in the before versions of Java later, this time and the date are as part of the util package. As part of the util package, see this java.util.date, java.util.calendar, java.util.simple date formatter. So the methods or classes regarding the date and time are as part of the util package. So before Java version 8, time is a part of util package. So after the Java version 8, so time has defined separately and given the much more importance. So the time package is introduced in the Java version 8. After the Java version 8, time is a package. So we can import the time package as import java dot time dot. So if you want all the classes as to import java dot util dot as to, like util import java dot language dot as to. So like language and util, time is also a separate package in the Java. So let us see what are the features of this time package. So there are some reasons why this time package has given separate importance. So why? Because there are some disadvantages of the existing architecture. That is, these classes are not thread safe. These classes are not thread safe. That means java.util.calendar, calendar class, simple date formatter class, and a date class. So these are not thread safe. That means multi-programming. If you perform multi-programming, the time formats and time should not be matched. So that means some errors are occurring while performing the multi-programming. That means while using the threads, we are getting some errors. So these classes are not that safe. So that is the main reason why we are putting all the time related things and date related things in a separate package. So this is the main reason. And then the classes are, second reason is the classes are defined very poorly. That means architecture is very elegant. So these classes are also suffered from poor design. That means let us take this package, Java util package and Java SQL package. So both these packages has date as class, util package and SQL package, Java SQL package. Both these packages has the date and time classes. Both these classes has date and time classes. So, but in java.sql, date contains only date. And that means date class contains only date. There is no time. But in util package, there is also time. So that means let us understand this like this. So previously, we have the package util package, and then we have the package SQL, java.sql. We have the package java.util. So in this package, we have the class date. We have the class date. So in the SQL package also we have the class date. So both packages has the class date. So in this package, date class, suppose this is the date class. So the date class consists of date method as well as time method. Date method as well as time method. Util package, this date class consists of only date method. It doesn't have time method. So here class names are same, date and date. That means both these classes can exhibit the same behavior. But in the util package, date has some method. But SQL package date has two different methods. So this is this leads to some ambiguity. So that's why it is called the poor design. That means this date is a class name here. Date is a class. Here also date is a class. So both are the classes. So both can have the same functionalities. But here so the concept is like this. So that's why it is called as poor design. So next disadvantage is different calendar systems. Suppose if you take the Indian calendar, it has some format. If you take the American calendar, it has some format. So each country follows some calendar format. That means some ISO format. So some format will be there. So different types of calendar systems are there, but the defined classes or classes available in the util package or SQL package. So these are meant for only single type of calendar system. So it consists of so many disadvantages while using this this class, date and time. So that's why the third parties are entered into the development. That means some organization, Joda Time. A notable development is Joda Time. So Joda Time is a third party. So it can offer the architectural elegant methods regarding the time and date. So that means, so this Joda Time has developed the errorless and calendar independent systems. That means any if you take the Asian Kolkata time, it can be displayed. If you take the Dubai time, it can be displayed. If you take the Australian time, that can be displayed. So in spite of the geographical location, the time cannot be varied. So that can be achieved with the Joda time. So these features are not available in the Java util package. So that's why, so Java organization has formed a group, and then they developed the time package. So this is the some history of this time package. So let us have some terminology regarding these times. So if you want to work with the time, you have to cope up with the real-time naming conventions also. So why? Because we are using the object-oriented programming. So we have to name the each and every object. So the naming should be familiar to the programmer. So let us see this one. Instant, time zone ID, zone offset. So these are the 4 terms used in the time package. So you have to understand the concept of these 4 things. First one, instant. So this can be called as epoch or origin of time. So this can be called as epoch or origin of time. That means instance class measures the time since 1st January 1970 at 0000. That means midnight 12 o'clock. So this instant is a class. This class measures the time in seconds. So it calculates the time in the seconds. That means the units of time is seconds here. There is no hours. So how many seconds from 1st January 1970? So this is called epoch time or origin of the time. So this is called instant. Next one, time zone. So time zone means, so we will measure the time with respect to the Greenwich Mean Time, GMT. GMT. So Indian GMT is plus 5:30. Plus 5:30. Indian Greenwich Mean Time, GMT is plus 5:30. So likewise, every time zone has some values. That means plus 5:30 means uh, for the 0 hour, 5 hours 30 minutes before the 0 hour. Minus 5:30 means 5 hours 30 minutes after the 0 hour. After the 0 hour. So 0 hour means this is the 0 hour. This is the 0 hour. That means starting of the hour. That means our time starts with the midnight 12 to 1. So that time is known as 0 hour. Next one, time zone ID. So each zone has some ID. Suppose our time has Asian Kolkata, Asia slash Kolkata. This is our time zone. Time zone ID plus 5:30 means Asia slash Kolkata. So likewise, we have some time zone also, time zone offset. So zone offset means some ID for that Asia Kolkata. So let us see this one. For example, Asia Kolkata. So plus 5:30. So this is the zone offset. So this is the zone ID. Asia Kolkata. Zone ID, zone offset. So time package consists of so many classes. So let us see this. Clock, duration, instant, local date time, local time, month day, offset time date, offset set time. So like this, we have so many classes available in the package time. So we have the period, year. So likewise, we have so many year, month. Likewise we have so many classes in time package. So let us have some programs on times. So before that, we can check this one. So methods created by prefix. Methods created by prefix. That means we have the methods like yeah, this is the method, or sub, this is the method. So methods are like this. So we can have the methods like this also, sub, yet, or sub, now, or sub, off. That means we are adding some prefixes or we are adding some suffixes to the existing methods. So those type of things are known as prefixes, method prefixes. So time package has some prefix methods. It supports some prefix methods. So let us see the available prefixes. So most widely used one is off, and then plus, minus, plus, minus. So these are the mainly used prefixes. Off method, and then minus and plus. So that means these prefixes are added to the existing methods. These prefixes are added to the existing methods. So then their execution will alter. Suppose we have created the method add. we have created the method add here. So this is the method. So for this method, I can I can include the prefix as add dot plus, add dot plus 4, add dot plus 4. It means that for this output, add the 4. So for addition of two numbers, 5 plus 5, I got the 10. So for the 10, we are adding the plus. 10 plus 4, 14. So 14 will be displayed as output. So these type of methods are known as prefix methods. So we can add this to either addition method or subtraction method. So for any method, we can add these prefixes. So that is the advantages of these prefix methods. So let us have some programs on this time. So let us check this. So here I am importing all the packages in all the classes in time. So instead of this, we can write the import java.time.asterisk. We can write the asterisk, but you have to know whether which class we are importing. That's why I have written the local date, local time, local date time, period. So these are the 4 classes available in the time package. Time package consists of so many classes. So among them, local time, local date time, period. So these 4 are the main classes in the time package. So instead of this, we can have the import java.time.asterisk also. So main class, main method. So in order to access some methods in this classes, we need an object. So I am creating an object D of type local date. Local date is a class name. Local date is a class name is equal to, so local date dot now. So now is a prefix method. Now is a prefix method. We can add this to the existing class also. Local date dot now. So system.out.println today's date is plus D. Today's date is D. I am displaying the today date. So what is the date today? That will be displayed here. So we need an object to get this one. Object is D. I am using some prefix method now. So local date dot now. We'll get the today's date. Local date. To display the date, we can use the local date class. So to display the local time, we need the local time class. We need the local time class. So I am defining the object LT. So local time dot now. Local time dot now. Then by using that object, we can get the local time also. Local time also. So then I am going to use some modifications for this. So let us see this. So I am creating the another object NT. I am creating another object NT of type local time. Local time NT. So NT is equal to LT dot plus hours. What is LT? LT is the local time. Local time. I am adding the plus hours, plus 2 hours. Plus 2 hours. So here, so what is the output for this? Current time, that is 9:18 something. Now time is 9:18. So this is the time displayed. So what I am going to do is, I want to increase the time to 2 hours. 10:18, 11:18. I want the output as 11:18. So how you can perform? You create an object NT. You will assign the time to NT. You will assign the time to NT. Local time is exist in this object LT. So for that object, we are adding the plus 2 hours. LT dot plus hours 2. And I am displaying this. So 1118 will be displayed here. Next, I am creating the another object dt of type local date time. So here I am getting the date first method, first object. Next I am getting the time. Next I am increasing the time. Next I want time and date at a time. Local date time at a time. If you want at a time means we can have this class local date time. I am creating the object dt is equal to local date time dot now. So if you want to display the current time and date, we will use the now method. So this is the display. Next, period. So period means some duration. We are adding some duration to the current time and date. So let us check this one. I am creating an object p of type period. Period is a class name. So period dot off. So off is a prefix method. Period dot off 1 year 3 months 10 days. 1 year 3 months 10 days. 1 year 3 months 10 days. So then I am creating another object nd of type local date time. So nd is nothing but a dt means this time, local date and time, dt dot plus p. That means suppose for this output is so local time and date. So here time is 9:21, date is 8/6/2021. 8/6/2021. This is the output for this. So here period means 1/3/10. 1 year 3 months 10 days. That means for this current date we are adding the plus method, plus prefix method. That means plus p. That means 1 year is added here. 8/6/2021. That means 2022. 1 year 3 months 10 days is added to this one, this period. So that will be displayed as output for this. So this program is for illustration of all these time related things, all these time related methods and time related classes. So let us check the output for this. So see the output. So check the output. First, I am displaying the today's date by using the local date. Next, I am displaying the time 9:22, 21 seconds. Next, I am adding these plus 2 hours. So here 9 hours. I am adding the plus 2 hours. 10, 11. I am adding plus 2 hours. Next, I am displaying the time and date at a time. So today's date is this one. Time is this one. Date and time at a time. Now I am adding some period to this. 2021. I am adding 1 year, 22, 3 months, 6 plus 3, 9. Next 10 days. Here 8 plus 10, 18 days. I am adding this period to this one. So this is all about the classes available in the time package as well as methods available in the time package. So do you have any doubts in this? So there is another program. So we'll discuss it in the next class. So in today's class, we have discussed about the random class, that means random numbers generation, and then time package. So time is a special package defined in the Java. So this time package consists of several methods for time and date related programs. we need the time package. So for this, I have seen the some classes as well as some methods. So then, so in the tomorrow's class, we will see the other than these methods. That means local date, local time, local date time, period. Other than these 4 classes, we have so many other classes also. So that we will discuss in the coming sessions. Thank you.